With years of restrictions behind, people are finally going out more and traveling again. Korea is a small country but has diverse nature with an easy access to seas, mountains, and lakes, and domestic travel is a pretty popular pastime. People would of course need an accommodation if their outing to be longer than a single-day trip, and the most popular form of accommodations are motels. Motels in Korea have little to do with motor travel, unlike the origin of the word, and simply mean a smaller, cheaper accommodation than a hotel. I already discussed about the motel culture in Korea in my episode 88. If you missed it, I'll leave the link in the description and at the corner of the screen. Unfortunately, not everyone who checks into motels are joyous holiday makers. Much darker things, from illicit affairs to deaths of varying causes, can and does happen in those rooms and leave a lingering mark. So, here are 7 allegedly true stories from Korea about weird paranormal phenomena unsuspecting guests experienced in motel rooms. As always, handpicked, translated, and narrated by host Anthony. It happened just a few days ago. I had a great day out with my girlfriend to an amusement park. We had another full program the following day, so checked into a motel for the night. I felt a bit of a chills in the room, but we were to have an early start, so we went to bed soon. Then I had a dream. In the dream, I woke up in the same motel room, and in front of the room door was a man. Tall, his face hidden under a motorbike helmet, and holding a food delivery trunk in his hand. He didn't say or moved, but just kept staring at the sofa in front of him. I wondered who that was and what he was doing there, but could not say anything. After what seemed like a long time, the man finally turned away. And then I woke up. It was already morning. "Hey, sweet. I had a bizarre dream." "Really? What was it about?" she said. "Well, a man was standing right there, wearing a helmet and carrying a food delivery trunk." "Oh, really?" I didn't register it then, but her reaction was rather serious. And indeed, in the car to the next destination, she kept silent, unlike her usual chattery self. Only later at lunch, she opened her mouth. "About the dream you mentioned," she said. "What about it?" I said. "I actually had exactly the same dream too." I asked her to describe it in details, and indeed, it matched to what I saw, from the height of the man to his obsessive stare at the sofa. She kept silent all morning because she was so creeped out. But the mood lightened over the lunch, and we discussed why he should manifest there. "Maybe he died on the way to deliver something to the motel, and is still looking for the one who ordered it," was my girlfriend's guess. I must say it sounded so plausible that it gave me goosebumps. "10 years ago, I was a freshman. For the first summer vacation in the uni, I saved up to make a holiday with a friend to Busan. By the time we arrived Busan by train, it was already late at night, so we just decided to get a room by the first motel we came across, have a good rest for the first night, and go full-on fun from the following day was the idea. But it was still the first night of our holiday, and my friend went out to get some drinks and snacks to enjoy before bed. I watched TV waiting for him to come back, and dozed off despite of myself. When I woke up, the TV program was about halfway through. Gosh, guess I was more tired than I realized, I thought. Then I heard a shower running in the ensuite bathroom. I must have slept deep not to have heard my friend coming back. Shit, but I felt the urgent call of nature. I knocked on the bathroom door. "Oi, I need to take a leak. I'm coming in," I said. No reply. I tried the knob, but it was locked. That was unusual. We'd been friends from childhood, and there was absolutely nothing we hadn't seen of each other, the good, the bad, and the ugly. "Hey, open up! I'm about to piss in my pants!" I shouted.
"Don't come in,"
said he in a blunt tone. I got irritated. "I've seen it all already. What's there to hide? Open!" I said, and rattled the doorknob.
"I said don't come in,"
he shouted. I was surprised. It was not only unlike him to have such an outburst, but there was certain unfamiliar force in the voice. All right. Just finish quickly," I said, and stepped away from the door. I came back to TV, but something wasn't right. You know, the sound of somebody actually taking a shower is different from when a shower is just let run empty. And it sounded like the shower was running empty. I still didn't think it was anything out of ordinary. I just wondered what was up with a friend and what he was doing in there. I anyway couldn't think straight with a growing urgency to pee. And then the room door opened. It was my friend with a bag full of bottles in his hand. But wait, what? "Why, weren't you taking a shower?" I said.
"What shower? It just took some time to wait for the fried chicken,"
he said. I jumped up to the bathroom and tried the door. It just opened, but the shower was still on. My friend didn't believe me at first and told me to repeat what happened. But he too soon sensed my reaction was genuine. I'm really not easily get scared usually either, and he knows it too. In the end, we found ourselves another room for the night. Nothing more happened, but I still remember that voice whose force almost overwhelmed me. What was it really? About 10 years ago, I was 20. During the summer break, I and my then girlfriend spontaneously took a trip to Kunsan, a port town on the west coast. It was so spontaneous that by the time we arrived there, it was already late night, and we just got a room at a motel near the bus terminal. In the middle of the night, I woke up from the girlfriend getting up from the bed. I took a look, still half asleep, and saw her going to the bathroom. But it wasn't just her. There also was some sort of shadow following her. No, it wasn't her shadow. It moved its limbs independently from her move, and it followed her into the bathroom. I am not superstitious, nor do I believe in paranormals, but at the time my body moved instinctively. I jumped up and tried to open the bathroom door, but the knob didn't turn at all. Then I heard a giggle from the inside that sounded like from a middle-aged man. I desperately called out girlfriend's name, but there was no reply from her. I bumped my shoulder to the door till the lock broke, but inside the bathroom was no one. Still baffled, I came back to bed. And there she was, sitting on bed. She was smiling ear to ear. We'd been together for 2 years, and such a creepy expression had I never seen from her. I was scared, but didn't really know what to do other than gently coax her to lie back down and sleep. I myself could not sleep a blink. Following morning, I hurried her and we got out of there as quickly as possible. Apparently, she didn't remember anything about the previous night. I didn't want to unnecessarily scare her, so didn't explain anything further. Later back home, I made some research and found the motel had been the stage of several murder and suicide cases over the years. I don't know if what I experienced had anything to do with such a history, but now I ought to always make a research before booking a room. It's already 10 years ago. In the winter of 2006, I and my then boyfriend suddenly wanted to see the night sea and spontaneously took a trip to one of the nearest beaches of Daecheon. By the time we arrived, it was already past midnight. The romantic vision of the night sea was quickly overwhelmed by the harsh December wind, so after just a few minutes at the beach, we sought a motel. I still remember the name of the motel, if not which floor and which room number. The interior wasn't exactly of my taste, and the room smelled a bit musky. I went into the bathroom to have a shower, and suddenly the lights went off. I thought it was the boyfriend playing on me. "Turn it back on, it's not a joke," I shouted, but the light didn't come on. I got out of the bathroom and found him watching TV. I asked him not to play a silly prank, but he denied it was his doing. I felt a bit weird, but tried to rationalize it as, well, probably a broken switch. Anyway, we went to bed. Boyfriend fell asleep quickly, but I could not. Twinkling red lights from the outside disturbed me, and I just lied there wide awake. It happened then. A hazy white shadow set up from where boyfriend was lying, as if his spirit was separated from his body. And then, next moment, it disappeared like a smoke. I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't paralyzed. I shook boyfriend to wake him up. He is usually a shallow sleeper and would wake up with any small noise, but that night he didn't wake up no matter how hard I shook him. In the end, I resorted to slapping him all around to wake up. When he finally did, I explained what I saw shaking all over, that his soul seemed to be leaving him. But of course he didn't understand what I meant, and just blankly tried to calm me down. "It's all right, I'm here, just go back to sleep," etc. I should have persuaded him to pack up and leave the room then, but we were young and poor, and I could not ignore another small chunk of money we paid for this seaside room. So I stayed put. I closed my eyes, but not long after, I sensed a presence in front of my eyes. I squinted to check. It was a man, or a blurry image of a man. He spoke like a drunkard.
I died here.
His enormous remorse dripped from his voice. I was so scared that I just wanted to run away, but I was paralyzed and somehow fell asleep in that terror and struggle. It was the longest and scariest night in my life, and have been talking about the experience to others ever since. Unfortunately, not many really took it seriously. The incident suddenly occupied my mind of late. I still clearly remember the name and whereabout the motel was, and a few weeks ago, I found out its phone number and rang it. On one hand, it was a traumatic experience for me, but on the other hand, the reason I could not forget the night was the ghost guy's pressing remorse. I wondered. I wished to find out his story more, if possible. Hello? You may think I'm a totally nutcase, but please, it's just about something I experienced there 10 years ago. To my surprise, the owner let me explain myself. I asked if there was any notable incident before December 2006 that I thought I saw a remorseful spirit there. Normally one would huff and puff at such a claim, but her response was if I stayed on 4th floor. According to her, not a small number of people come to such motels to end their own lives. For some reason, 4th floor seemed to have had most cases, and even though she herself didn't see anything, she was aware something was going on there, from customer occasionally leaving after a few hours there, or some claiming for refund. Who the mystery ghost was, and what his story was, remained a mystery. But in a sense, I felt strange kind of relief to have it confirmed that it wasn't just my hallucination, or that I was mad. I did see what I saw. The owner of the motel was so kind, and told me to feel free to ask anything if I had more, that I seemed to have bottled up the trauma for the past decade. At the end of our brief conversation, she said I'd better not stay at a hotel or motel rooms at popular holiday destinations. All sorts of people and their stories have been accumulated there, and one doesn't know what one might unwittingly face, the remnants of them. My girlfriend has a very strict parents, and she has to go back home before the curfew they set. For that reason, we usually meet still early in the day, and as bars wouldn't open so early, we sometimes get a motel room to have a drinks in the relaxed privacy. One winter day in 2019, we did exactly that. Alcohol made us drowsy, so we just went to bed, not forgetting to set the alarm for my girlfriend to wake up before her curfew, and a playlist of soft music on my notebook. I don't know how long I slept, but I found her side of bed empty when I reached out. Had she gone home, I thought, and was about to fall back to sleep, but then the music from notebook suddenly stopped, followed by the sound of toilet flush. It should be girlfriend, I thought, but why didn't she turn on the light? In that motel room, the wall to the ensuite bathroom was made of frosted glass, so I could clearly see the light was off. "Hey, sweetie, in the bathroom?" I said, just to make sure.
"Yes."
I had a faint reply after a few seconds of gap. "What are you doing in the dark? Shall I put the light on?" I said.
"Don't."
A sudden shout startled me. The voice sounded strangely masculine, but I just wanted to think it was just my girlfriend being shy for whatever reason. I waited for her to come out. How odd that she should giggle out of blue in the dark. "Sweetie, what's taking you so long?" I said. And this time, instead of a reply, I saw a faint silhouette appearing on the frosted glass, with a long hair. But my girlfriend had a short hair? Before I could react, it clapped its hands and carried on. I froze there with fear and confusion until the silhouette disappeared, together with the eerie clap. I quickly checked my phone. It was 1 a.m, and there was an unread message from my girlfriend that she got home safely at 10:30. We are a long-distance couple, she in Seoul and I in Busan. To celebrate our first anniversary, I traveled to Seoul. We had a walk along the Han River, dinner with fried chicken and beer, and got a motel room near Yeongdeungpo Market. Their rate was 50,000 for a normal room and 60,000 for a deluxe room. The staff at the desk kept recommending the more expensive room, but I thought we didn't really need it, and just handed over 50,000 won. "Well, you are paying with the cash, so I'll give you an upgrade to the deluxe room. Here, key for the room 607, the staff said. The room 607 was at the end of the hallway. It was clean and nicely equipped. We took a shower and settled down in front of the TV. We chose to watch a horror film among VODs on offer. Guess it wasn't so interesting seeing girlfriend dozing away in the midway into it. I felt for a smoke by then. I had promised girlfriend to quit smoking, so I thought it would be a perfect opportunity to have a quick cigarette while she was asleep. So I paused the film and went out of the room to have a smoke. What welcomed me when I was back to the room was a particular scene with a close-up shot of the ghost character of the film keep repeating itself as if by a glitch. I don't understand how that was even possible when I left it on pause, but it creeped me out that I turned off the TV and woke girlfriend up. To my surprise, as soon as she woke up, she insisted that we should get out of there quickly. She was so much in a hurry that she grabbed her things first and went out, not bothering to wait for me. In the elevator going down, she said, "You were out to have a smoke, weren't you?" For a moment I wondered if she was putting up this fuss as a punishment for my smoking. But she continued, "While in sleep, I did sense you going out, and as soon as you went out, a strange woman came into the room and wandered around, laughing like a maniac. I could not but just watch it on, because I could not move. When you came back, I heard her screaming, but the scream didn't went away out of the room, but disappeared into the corner of the room. I think she should be still in the room," she said. In the end, we spent the rest of the night at a 24/7 McDonald's. It was in the summer of my 21st year. I have two very close friends, one male, let's call him Youngjun for the sake of the story, and the other female, let's call her Seonyang. And well, they started seeing each other, Actually, much more than that, as they left hometown Busan and found themselves a home in Seoul together. But as the summer rolled in, they came back to Busan. They said they missed me, but I knew, of course, they were just looking to make a summer holiday by the beach. Anyway, we caught up, had a long evening of dinner, drinks, game arcade, and by the time we emptied a bottle of tequila at a bar, we were already quite exhausted. Youngjun told me he and Sunyoung were going to find a room at a motel and that I should come along. What? Are you mad? Why would I take a couple along to a motel room? I said. But he persuaded me that it had been a long time, we should have more beer and relax in the room. Oh well, they live together and sleep together every day anyway. So I ended up in the motel room with them. The first thing I noticed in the room was that it felt strangely chilly. Not that it was anyway cold. August night in the southern city of Busan could never be cool. But whatever. We cracked some cans of beer, and by 3 in the morning we were all dozing away. Sunyoung went to bed first, and we two guys soon followed. But not 2 minutes later, it sounded like big raindrops hitting the roof, or electricity device sparking. It definitely wasn't raining that night, so I turned the bedside lamp on to check what it was. But the noise stopped as soon as the light was on. I shrugged, turned off the light, and lied back down. The noise came back when the light was off. Don't you hear that? What's that? I said.
No idea. Sounds like something sparking,
Youngjun said. But the sound stopped when I turned on the lamp again. We feared a potential electric short and sniffed around, checking all the electric appliances and wall plug-ins in the rooms. But everything was all right. I felt something wasn't right, but we went back to bed anyway. In the dark, I heard a noise hitting regular beats. Then faster and closer. Not just physically closer, but it felt more like the sound piercing through my ears, then straight into my brain. I never felt anything like it. I guess Youngjun felt the same, and we both sprung up from bed at the same time. The sound stopped again when we turned on the light. Normally rational and easygoing Youngjun looked visibly scared too. We decided to get out of there right away. But we could not wake Sunyoung up no matter how hard we shook her about. She didn't even make her usual moan or reactions like, "Leave me alone," and was simply passed out. There was no way we could drag her out back on the street. In the end, we turned on all the lights and stayed up in front of TV. After a couple of hours, the dawn broke and it relaxed our tensions a bit. Well, the sun should rise soon. Surely a ghost should be gone now, I said.
Yeah, I guess so. Let's get a short snooze,
Youngjun agreed. We laid our exhausted bodies back on bed and turned off the light. Indeed, the noise didn't come back, and I was relaxing into sleep. With a scream, Youngjun shot up. God, my heart literally skipped a beat. "Why, what?" I shouted.
You son of a bitch!
Youngjun shouted at me.
You're pranking me, right? It was you, wasn't it?
What are you talking about?
Something just grabbed my ankle now. It was you, wasn't it?
I swear to God it wasn't me. After some such back and forth, we could not dare to go back to bed and just waited till Sunyoung finally got up. which she did almost at noon. We were too knackered to talk about what happened during the night, and Sonyoung too seemed strangely serious despite of a long night's sleep. When we finally got out of the motel, Youngjun was limping. "Why are you walking funny?" I said.
I don't know. It hurts where it was grabbed,
Youngjun said. "Give me a break," I scoffed. But he was too consistent and persistent for it to be a put-up act. Only when we got to a restaurant for a brunch, we talked about the last night's incident, and Sonyoung's face changed the color. She said she suffered sleep paralysis herself the whole time. She gets sleep paralysis occasionally, but that night she could not break it no matter how hard she tried. She did see us jumping in and out of bed and turning on and off lights, but that wasn't all she saw. Something fluttering down from the ceiling, she saw. At first it was as small as a speck of dust, but as it got closer, it got bigger and took on more a distinctive shape. And by the time it came right down to her face, it turned into a face of a woman with her mouth ripped open ear to ear. Sonyoung wanted to look away, but she couldn't. After what felt like an hour of terrifying face-to-face, the eyes of the woman rolled backwards and then started running on Sonyoung's belly. By which point, she passed out. We still have no explanation for what happened in that room. What was the noise? Who grabbed Youngjun's foot? And what was that woman Sonyoung saw? I see the motel is still on business, but I wouldn't get even near to it. Hi, it's Anthony here, and thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. Do you make travel or holiday plans again now? I usually can't afford regular holidays, but actually, I'm going to visit my family in Korea soon, after many years, as a matter of fact. It's exciting and a bit stressful at the same time. A reunion with the family can always be a bit of a double-edged blade, you know. But in any case, it will be the biggest travel for me in years. And no, I'm staying with my parents, not in a hotel or motel, so I won't experience a haunted room myself. If you enjoyed my work, please leave it a like and a comment, and please consider subscribing to my channel. It's free and will help you keep informed about my updates, as well as help my channel grow out of this current obscurity. If you'd support me more directly, I also have a Buy Me a Coffee account. Links in the description. Buy Me a Coffee supporters get an early access to my new videos. Thank you. Until next time, stay safe and take care.